I'm an American, goyim. I mean, because look at like Warner Brothers, and you've got
produced by Gordon Holling
Meyer.
Written and directed by Crane Wilbur.
Don't you mean the Warner siblings of non-determinate gender?
I mean, what is it, Weinstein Starship?
Yet for countless
or what was,
centuries,
no, not Weinstein,
waited
what was
for
the one with the,
call it their own.
oh
During
shit,
the
the
year
immigrants.
1000
Those are real
the
immigrants,
first
yeah.
white immigrants set
Oh,
foot
Maybe they'll
on
play
shore.
Immigrant
What the
Song
fuck
by
is that?
It's
Zeppelin.
only in
I
history
like
that
this.
it is
Oh shit.
believed
I
that
already
their
love this
ancestors
shit.
had emigrated
They got
from
natives.
Asia.
Is this loud enough? Hang on a second. In the chat, can you hear them talking at all? I can barely hear it on mine.
I have it up as loud as possible, but it's really. I can still go just a wee.
Can you put the closed captions on because you're doing it via YouTube?
No, it's through my circle, so you can't. You have no control
Ah.
over that. It's unfortunate.
Well, we can tell them what's happening.
Yes.
It's Mystery
was
Science
blown
Theater,
off
right?
its course, and he
Yo, is
discovered
it going
the
with like the whole
coast of what is
Vikings
now
arrived
known as the
first?
United States
Yeah,
of
'cause
America.
Okay.
We have no
it's
knowledge
loud
of
enough
how
they can
long
go here.
Erickson remained here, or how far he penetrated into the interior. But this
The Vikings came because white people own this country,
and finally
and they
he
gave
sailed
the
away.
savages a shiny
In
bead
time,
which they
other
jammed up their
immigrants
ass.
The pilgrims.
Yeah, filthy people.
For here was a refuge for
Pilgrims.
those who sought to escape oppression. Here
They
a
say
man
if you
could
guys shut
worship
up, they
God
can hear.
according to his conscience.
What's the point of
Speak
that?
his mind without fear of reprisal. For these things, men and women risked the dangers of the open seas and faced the terrors of the wilderness. There were others who had
Don't
the
get ripped by
courage
a
to
bear.
suffer and sacrifice.
I'm
And
wondering
we
if this is
Americans
supposed to
are
be when the
sons and
Vikings
daughters of these immigrants of early
came to
days.
England because they were invited
After the first
to England.
generation, they
No, because there
became
were
native Americans.
the
And
savages with the
because of
bows and
them,
shit.
we are a nation
Oh,
that
those might
Tonka
just
saw
be
hiding in the bush up
best
there
of
waiting to
all
shoot the fucking
nations.
pilgrims.
George Washington was
Starting
a descendant
America
of an
from
English
scratch.
family.
That's
A number of his
badass.
officers were born in Europe.
We're here to
Fought for other
fuck your
countries.
women
General
and
Lafayette
feed you
came from
Straussstrumming.
France. Generals Kosciuszko
Oh,
and
please, just kill
Pulaski
us.
from Poland.
We don't want the
Others followed
Straussstrumming.
in their
Conflict
footsteps.
US Chris in the
Pioneers
chat.
from
Where's
across the
Tonka?
seas, inspired by a dream that drove them on.
Oh, he's having a
Their
fist
blood,
fight with
their
Zoom on
sweat,
back.
their tears that made possible the world's great
Those
dream
fucking
of freedom.
guys.
The
You know, if those two ever
greatest
got in a
dream that
fight,
ever
they just
came
wind up
true.
making out,
They
rolling
knew
around on the
that
ground
here was
anyway.
the only country
But
where
not
any man
wrong.
was as good as the next.
I wish I could quit you, Zoom.
They broke the ties that
Failure
bound
is
them
just drinking
and
a
traveled
half Grey
half
Goose and
across the
breaking his
world,
keyboard in the
so that
background.
out of the dust of Europe's empires,
His boner popping
they
up
could
through the
help to
keyboard,
build
baking it.
our
Oh,
union.
Jesus.
In the New York
And
of
King of Poles is
1850,
hiding in the bushes
there
beating
was an
up.
old building near the dock.
I just
that
want
was
to
known
see
as
it.
Castle
Just
Guard.
let me see it.
Here, the immigrant had his first contact with
I love that guy, but that was the
land.
funniest shit I
And
ever
here one
heard.
day
Those
came
fucking
Theodore
hats.
and Marie
I had on my
Canal
stream the
from
next
Napoleon.
day, and I was just railing on him. Metaphorically.
Like Dorothy.
No, yeah, because I remember it was going down, and it's just like, oh, don't do me like this, empty. And then I started listening, and I was like, oh, yeah, this motherfucker got, because you had blackface Kermit on. Like, that motherfucker thought he was about to get his little line out to fucking Jim, and that Daddy Jim would come and save him from being a complete fucking idiot. Just sad.
Oh, you guys really don't like King of Pole, huh?
No.
I'm not invested enough in this whole bullshit blood
Well,
sports
he's just,
community
he's
to
just a
care.
weirdo, dude.
Yeah, but I think all you guys are weirdos, no offense.
Yeah. No, I feel it.
In your own ways.
Well, the
I
thing
mean, you guys aren't asking for dick pics, but we are watching Nazi propaganda films on a Saturday night instead of going out and getting laid.
This is
That's not weird.
American. It's
Yeah,
American.
this is an American
Yeah,
propaganda. We might
I'm
not see
specifically-
that.
Oh, I saw last week what you guys were
Oh,
talking
I'm specifically not going to like it because it'll be anti-Nazi.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play.
From the Polish Ukraine.
Real
Well,
quick, smash or
perhaps
pass?
Their name wasn't Kanowski,
Oh,
and they
smash.
might have come from Sweden,
Pass.
This one on the
or
left?
perhaps they came from Austria,
Maybe.
or from the land of Hungary.
I do it while he watched.
Or it
Smash
might have
them both.
been from Ireland, or a dozen different countries.
Summer Zoom's
But
going
for the
smash.
purposes of this story, we'll call them Theodore
Little
and
Oliver
Maria
Twist.
Kanowski. They
I
wanted
like
to
that
look their
hat. That's a
best as
baller
they landed
fucking
in
hat.
America, so they
Polish.
wore the colorful
It's like he
costumes
graduated
which
from a
they'd been
bear.
married. In their hearts, they were already
That's a
Americans.
wonderful line. I'm glad you did that.
Theodore and Maria had a job waiting for them on the farm of a relative in Ohio. They intended to be good citizens, never to become a burden to the community. So they saved
Unlike those
them and
unwashed
walked the many
Negroes.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
Mexicans.
miles. Hardships meant nothing
Dude,
to them.
it is very nice
For they
to
were
see
very
something
young.
presented like this.
And at last, they were free. When they reached the town in Ohio where Feodor's relatives were waiting to meet them,
They realized
they
it
heard
wasn't
bands
actually
play
round on the
saw
end and
citizens
high in the
waving
middle.
flags, and they said, "How wonderful are these Americans who hold a festival to celebrate the day of our arrival." How could Feodor and Maria know that this was the 4th of July? Feodor could speak no English then,
Get his thumb right up
and
her
he knew
ass.
but one way to show his happiness.
This kind of shows that
dance
most
of the Polish
whites in
Ukraine.
America are sort of post-Civil War immigrants.
He's celebrating his native culture, you bigot.
And that was the first Polish guy that got lynched.
They threw the money at him because they saw him trying to open a screen door. It was on a submarine.
Within 8 years, they had their own small farm and 3 little Americans to help them.
Look at their white.
George Washington Kanowski, Martha Washington Kanowski, and Thomas Jefferson Kanowski. But they were naturalized citizens.
And they were constantly molested by their alcoholic father.
Feodor believed it was
Luckily,
his
he
job
died
to
in the
help
war.
preserve
Don't
youth.
do this.
So, like thousands of other new
Son, you're the man of the
citizens
house now. You must molest
he
your
enlisted
siblings
to
while I'm
fight
gone.
under the flag that he had made his own.
What, too soon?
Descended
this
from
is
English
funny.
and
He's
Holland
80
Dutch
years old.
immigrants who wrote those deathless lines. Liberty.
Civil War.
I think all war through time was really fought and ever
Wow, that
will
guy's really
be
hamming it up.
really fought for thee. Other than a great faith and the desire to be good citizens,
Somewhere in that
millions like the
battalion is Big
Kanowskis
Boss
came here
singing,
empty-handed.
I give my
Through
life,
the years,
not
they've
for
never
honor,
ceased
but
making
for the
payments on their debt
Jews.
of gratitude.
If you don't get
Feodor
that
had
reference,
often
you need a
said,
dick.
I'd give
God
anything I
damn it.
have.
He lost his arm.
I'd give my good
Although
right
you can
arm.
clearly see the outline of his arm tucked under
No,
his
they're
jacket.
not saying he lost his arm, he's just scratching his
Feodor and
balls.
Maria had to
He's
starve
the only way
all
to
over.
notice.
And they gave half a
Forgot we
lifetime
used
of
to do
hard
that a lot
labor to
back
the
then.
land they loved so well. Meanwhile,
Oh,
their
he's
sons
tossing
and
tea like
daughters
me when I
became
was
men and
13.
women and had sons and daughters of their
Well, a
own.
bunch of men are around now, sweaty.
They worked with their heads and their hands,
Kidding.
and always with their
You,
hearts.
you aren't, but that's
As they
okay.
helped to build America. Feodor kept telling them that to be a good American, one had to
Oh, look
have
at
an
they're just
education.
taking jobs
So
from
they
good,
worked hard to
hardworking
get it.
non-Polish
He told them that
Americans.
being poor didn't matter, but being free meant
One thing I've
everything.
noticed from watching these old movies
So
is
the name
nobody
of
used to lift.
Kanowski continued to spread.
You know, it's
throughout
funny
the
because
country
he's making
until it commanded the
horseshoes.
same respect
His grandson
as the
lives in
more common
California.
English names,
Zoe
Smith
Quinn goes there to
Joe.
buy her shoes.
It was in
He's
May
making
of 1898
shoes.
When
What are the
Feodor
difference?
summoned his
What
sons
the
and
fuck?
daughters,
That
his
was a
grandchildren,
stretch,
his
but-
great-grandchildren, and they came from the north,
No, nobody
the
lifted.
south,
Actually,
the east, and
there's
the
quite a
west.
few documentaries
After
that talk
34
about
years
how
of
people
peace,
didn't really
the United
exercise
States had
until
threatened to
probably a
intervene
little
in
after the
Cuba,
60s.
and
You had
Spain
some
had
bodybuilders in the
declared war.
50s, some
This is
a few
our
in the
country.
30s.
Yeah, lifting triangular
And
weights
we
in
have
the
earned the right
circus.
to fight for her, as
Shit
I
like
fought
that,
in
but
1861.
It really hit
6 of his
mainstream in the
grandsons.
80s.
What? Look at a
everyone-
man who can lift a gallon of milk.
Paul and
Oh,
Jim
ho.
told their
Well, it's because everyone
grandfather
worked
that they
like
were
to
about
shit,
enlist.
so like
These
they
were
could
young
do,
Americans,
you know, they
native
could accomplish
Americans.
strong feats,
And
but they weren't
Feodor's
fucking,
heart
they weren't
swelled
looking like
with
Arnie
pride.
and shit.
Oh man, I got strong feet. I wear a size 13.
Now we're going to the Spanish-American War. Just running around San Juan.
These
Why
are
are you
all
leading with a pistol? What's wrong with
Of
you?
the 6 who went away,
Get
only
a fucking
2 came
rifle,
home.
you cheapskate.
One dead
You
on the
broke or
field and
something?
3 the victims of the malaria that took so many of our men.
He's scratching his balls too.
Again, Kanowskis had
It's a
their
ball
own
itch
blood,
epidemic.
A payment on their debt of gratitude.
My wife's pussy's dry and my
Then
balls
came
are
the
itchy.
turn of the century.
We've come
and
just
the
in time.
descendants of Feodor and Maria
And they
kept
spit on her
pace with
cunt,
America as
and
she
he fucks her and both of their
marched
palms are
onward toward
soft at
her
once.
destiny. One of them bought an interest
That's
in a
how the
large
West was
ranch
won,
where he had
America.
started as a cowhand.
I
In
do
time,
not
he
believe that
bought
that
Everyone
is
helps their
historically
neighbor.
accurate.
married a red-headed girl
do
named
not believe
O'Brien,
that is the case.
raised a raft of kids, and ran for sheriff of
Cowboys
the
and
county.
shit.
Another devoted his
We
life
was
to the study
cowboys.
of a dangerous
And
disease
here they're making
and
opium
found a cure.
to help enslave the minds of
They
the
were just
gooks.
average men, these
What do you mean white
Kanowskis.
people don't have
But
culture?
on the American scene, the average
Look at them
man
power
was a
lines.
very
Who else has got
important
power
individual.
lines? You know what I'm
There was a
saying?
Judge Kanowski
We with Nikola
serving his
Tesla and
community,
shit.
and a surgeon who straightened the limbs of stricken children. There was a priest and a printer.
And he
who
would
became
straighten their
editor.
other limbs
And
of the
just to
children.
make the
I was about to say, maybe not the
there
best
was
one
one
now.
who never
You'd
amounted
straighten
to
their
anything.
backs
Oh
out.
man, that is the life
Oh,
right
his
there.
dog
Passed
was
out
killed
drunk
the
with
day
your
he
dog
died.
fishing.
So
Fuck
he
yeah,
couldn't
we got
be
pigs.
old.
Dude, it's amazing.
I want to be that
Dog.
guy.
Yeah.
In 1917, after Germany had added insult to injury, Congress declared war, and President Wilson signed a bill to draft
President
the young
Wilson
manhood
cucked
of
to
the
the
nation.
Jews and
But the Kanowskis loved their country too well to wait for the draft. When it was known that
The
war was
Lusitania was a
inevitable,
false flag.
they were
It was
again
an inside
called to a
job.
meeting at the old homestead.
and the
By now, they
Mexican
had
German
increased to such an
telegraph.
extent
was
that
some
there were many who
bullshit.
couldn't even get into the house. Maria was gone, but the old lion of the family, worn out by a
They're lining
lifetime
up the
of hard
fucker.
labor,
It's so
lingered on.
morbid.
He knew
Jesus.
this was the last
She can't
time
get
he
enough
would ever
dick.
see his descendants.
Oh, it's a guy.
So he ordered his oldest son to carry on.
What makes you
even
say
worse.
that? Why are you
Their
assuming his
country
gender
was
for?
again in danger, but he sensed that this was only the beginning.
Please, I
That
must
same
go there.
danger would strike
I
To
Okay.
die for the Jews.
We must fight with everything we have, he told them. Like all Americans, you are the sons and daughters of immigrants.
And
See,
the
You are
slaves
new
of
blood
Israel.
that
Go.
keeps fresh
Yeah,
the
I know.
life
The
stream of
intent was all
our
there. You know,
You
back
are the
then,
hope of
people
today
were all
and
privy to go to
tomorrow.
war, volunteer in
And
the
all
hell.
the
But
tomorrows
White
to
Sharia
come.
now, please is calling in the chat.
They
That's
did
totally
fight with
hard.
everything they had. And when our armies
That is
came
hard.
home, many of their sons
Armistice,
were
why
left
not
to sleep
legacy?
beneath the fields of France.
Whose flag is this?
Remember, this story of the Kanowskis could have been
It's a little
taken from the
discriminatory
records of
against the other
100
limbs, don't you
families
think?
that had their
Because they're
humble
marching
beginnings
fast.
with the arrival
No,
of
it's just
two
sped up.
immigrants from the old world. Instead of the Polish Ukraine,
Or maybe
they
they
might
are
have
just
come
fast.
from a dozen
Yeah.
different countries.
They're fast
and their
walkers, but
names
bad
are
swimmers.
Legion. That man who sleeps in the tomb of the unknown soldier. His name may be Kelly. It may be Jones.
It reminds me of that old
It
song,
could
Green
even
Fields
be
of France, you
Kanowski.
know? Old Willie
A
McBride.
biography of famous Americans.
Wouldn't it be great if the
lists
guy in the
names
Tomb of the
many who were
Unknown
not
Soldier,
even
actually
born
his
yet.
name was Unknown Soldier?
John Ericsson, who
Be
designed
perfect.
the Monitor,
They wouldn't have to
and
move
helped
him.
to turn the tide of
That's a
battle
pretty
for the
cool
Union
legend. I
Navy,
didn't know
was
that.
born in Sweden.
The Unknown Soldier.
The
has a
Carnegie
tomb.
Libraries,
Yeah, well, there's a
storehouses
Tomb of the
of
Unknown Soldier at
education,
Arlington.
known from one
It's
end of
constantly
America to
guarded
the
by
other,
the
were
old
given to
guard.
the land of his adoption by
It's,
Andrew
yeah, it's
Carnegie.
like honestly,
Came from
in the
Scotland.
Army, that's the hardest duty posting you
George
could possibly
Washington
get. The
Gould,
only
who
rarer
built the
badge,
Panama Canal, was
other than
born in
Tomb Guard, is
Holland.
like Army astronaut.
Dude, when my
Alexander
great-grandpa
Graham
died
Bell,
at
inventor of the
107, the fucking
He came from
Knights of
Scotland.
Columbus had guys come out with swords and
American who
rifles
invented and
to
built
guard
the
his
first
casket.
submarine,
That was
John
ridiculous.
Philip Holland, was born in Ireland.
Well, it was just because he was black.
Newt Rockne,
I was
beloved
Sicilian,
coach
that's
of
close
Notre
enough.
Dame's football
Ooh.
team, a man whose name will live forever.
Look
in
at
the
all that.
annals
Back
of
when
American
football wasn't a
sports.
bunch of pussies.
Norway.
Yeah, dude.
Back when the only brown
football
thing on the
was-
Samuel
field was the
Gompers,
ball
one of
and the
first
stains in
great
the back of
leaders
our pants.
American labor, came from England.
We don't need a helmet.
Joseph
What are you
Wilson, the great
talking about?
journalist, was born in Hungary.
Although I hear that like
Charles
they didn't get as
Steinmetz,
bad with
famous
the
electrical
concussion stuff
engineer,
before they
born
wore
in
helmets.
Germany.
Before they didn't.
Oh, yeah,
before
that's-
they wore
that's
helmets.
how-
They didn't.
No, they
Musical
They
genius.
started testing the black guys, and they're like, their IQ has dropped. It's like, no, you should have tested them
Edward
before.
Buck, the famous publisher
Dude,
of
that's
the
interesting. I never
Netherlands.
thought about that. The IQ is dropping because
Madame
all the head
Schoenheit,
gut, and
the
it's
great
like,
operatic singer from
like
Germany.
90%
On
of the
Sunday,
NFL and all this
December
other shit.
7th,
It's fucking
1941.
black people.
George Washington Kanowski.
Hey, let's
now
not call
the
them
eldest
people.
of them all,
Okay.
heard the fateful
Calm
news
down.
from
Jesus.
Pearl Harbor.
You're gonna be the guy that gets him.
Hey, it's not my channel. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I know. Richard Spencer, no problem. Empty hero. Oh, you're terrible racist.
But Richard Spencer's just so evil.
Well, I don't see race.
Nobody-
I can smell it, though. When I walk in the room, I just know.
You are the hope of today and tomorrow and all the tomorrows to come. It found most of them already working for their country. The teachings of Theodore had been handed down from generation to generation.
And the women
one of
joined the
his
men in the
sayings had been
workforce,
taken
taking
from
them out of
words
the home.
Lincoln. Let us have faith that right makes might. And in that faith, let us to the end dare to do our duty as we
Get
understand.
hard in the chat. Actually,
Then on May
like football, 'cause it's made
21st,
it.
1944, I Am an American Day was celebrated in all
After
our
when
great
they skin
cities
that
from
pig, what do you do with
coast
the
to
feet?
coast. There were marching warriors, statesmen
Makes a
orators,
difference.
I like
and
pig.
blood-tingling spectacles. It was the
But now you're
spirit
just
of
being
a
racist.
nation
I was
at
doing an
war,
accurate
the
impression,
spirit
but
of
you
victory.
just turn it up a
The
notch.
spirit
I
of
was just,
liberty
I was
of
just
little
quoting an Ice
people
Cube
stole
movie,
the
okay?
show.
Chill out.
Okay.
For it is the little people who fight all wars. The Kanowskis were present at one of the celebrations. They were there with their daughters in uniform, with a group of their sons who had come back for a little time.
Oh, he's not going to
from the
salute because he doesn't have an army
overseas.
scratching his balls.
In every city,
No,
rain or shine,
they didn't show the sun.
The stadiums
No,
and
because it
coliseums
wasn't the
were
son. It
like
was the
giant
granddad who lost the arm.
salad
It was
bowls,
Marg
filled
who
to
lost the arm.
overflowing. Stirred within them,
Marg.
as if by an unseen ladle, was a bit of everything that makes up a nation. and a way of life.
Oh, there you go.
Called
Tactical
America.
blacks.
Got some Asians, got some base token blacks.
Other daughters of the
Yeah, but back
country
then they
proudly
like
marched
had
in
jobs and
wax and
behaved.
waves and
They were like
spars and
not
rings.
even
For you must
1%
not
of
forget
you
that
know
the
said
name
population.
Kanowski
They were
is only a
segregated and all
symbol for
that.
100 other
They didn't
words,
listen to
and his
music
story
produced
is
and
taken from
written
the history of
exclusively by
many other
Jews.
families
Yeah,
that
they didn't
began as
have that.
immigrants.
You know, they
Indeed,
didn't
we
have
all began that
Rosensteins.
way.
They didn't have sag
From the
pants.
landing
They
of
didn't
Leif
have
Erikson
XX
to Ellis
Temptations.
Island, the story of the immigrants is written in the vast expanse
Yeah, I mean, they used
of
to.
our
That's the
country,
thing. World War II, they
in
had
the
segregated
factories and the
units.
homes.
Actually,
in
there's
their
a
sweat and
I don't know,
tears,
funny story,
in
but
their hopes and
on
prayers. Great
the
stars
West
from the
Coast,
screen and from radio
they
were
had
on
this
hand
big
in
issue.
every
There was a
city to help
gigantic
celebrate
explosion that went
that
on at
glorious
the
day.
ammunitions dump.
Dennis
They
Morgan
were like
summed it up
refueling
when
or
he
like
said,
refitting,
Every
destroyed a
American
bunch
knows
of
what the
ammunition
men
and
of our
stuff,
Army
and
and
it just
Navy are
blew up
doing
because the
overseas.
black unit that was running
Every
it, just
kid from
nobody
6
gave
to
a fuck,
60
and they all
knows that
died
story by
basically
heart.
because they were just messing around with the explosives,
Only
and they
a
were
small
like, "This is
part
why
of
we
us
have
men are
segregated
professional
units."
soldiers.
Well, let me tell you something
Great
about
majority are
racism,
from
okay?
factories,
Vice came out with a
schools,
piece
farms,
the other
and
day, and this guy was all like, "Oh, that's a bait truck. You baiting us?
Oh, yeah.
Baiting us and shit."
Who are they?
It's like I don't care at this
Yes.
point. You know,
I saw a guy who was wearing a daishiki
But they're
and
not all
a
named
leopard print
Smith, Brown,
Jackie Onassis cap. He's like, I knew them
Casualty
white
list.
devils were staging
Names
crimes.
of those who are
It's
out
like, no,
there
they
living
staged
their
the truck. They committed the crimes.
The
What
O'Briens
the fuck are you
are
talking
there.
about?
Cohen's,
That was
made it
really
Kellys,
funny.
But Aschenbachs are
Oh, real
Slavs,
quick, just to go back to
Finos,
that black explosion.
Dardanelles,
I read about that.
Frisians,
What happened is
Moravians,
they tripped and fell in the gunpowder, and they
Yes.
couldn't tell the gunpowder from the
Hard to
ash on their
pronounce their
elbows and
names.
knees. We were smoking a
They are
cigarette.
there, too.
Just boom. Y'all went up it.
Americans.
To be fair though, they did like legit smoke a lot of cigarettes. That's
You know how
probably
they
what
can fight.
happened. Was some dude was like smoking a
And
cigarette and
nobody
the whole
out
shit
there
blew up.
asks whether their parents have been here.
Shit, man, what do you mean I can't light up in
Or
here?
200 years.
Well, you know why black people
They're fighting for
they
their
hold their
country.
cigars with a tongue, right?
Our country.
Mm.
So they don't cut the ends off with their fingers.
And they'll come back with the same unpronounceable names. And
That's a
everyone
take on
will
the
look
old
you
Tootsie
straight
Roll
in the
joke.
eye and say,
Yeah.
Mister,
how many lips does it
I'm an
take to get to
American.
the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Bobby Yaga in the chat. Fun fact: Nigeria didn't end slavery until the end of the 1940s. There you go.
You know, fun fact, if you look at the word Nigeria, it's got area in it.
Hey, I got another fun fact. Liberia has the same constitution as the United States.
Yep.
A nation is a people, not the rules.
That's a depressing fact.
It is.
Oh, Baba Yaga says, they were looking for food nets for black devils.
Wow, dude, it was a Nike truck with empty Nike boxes, and as soon as I got in the truck and tried to steal it, they were like, I was just looking for water, man. It's like those Somali kids up there in Lewiston, Maine. They just go into shops all the time shirtless, like, can we have like a water cup?
That'd be a great place to be a child molester, wouldn't it? Just shirtless Somalian kids asking for unsealed drinks.
Dude, like, it's the Clinton Foundation, like Haiti stuff. Like, oh, just the little black
Well,
kids, just their little.
Ubuntu goes back home, and his parents are like, "Did you get that water, son?" He's like, "The water tasted funny, and my butthole hurts. Get your own fucking water, Dad."